Did you have a good day?
Great day, actually, here at the Living Well Spine Center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big fun.
Great
Our new
day.
associate, Dr. Ben, who you guys have met before,
Yeah.
is getting up and running and serving
that.
people and having a good time doing it. We've had some fantastic fun new cases. We've got a kind of a promo going on so that we can get some people into his calendar and serve more people in our town. It's connected to the World Cup.
Oh, I've
Soccer
seen
tournament.
some of your graphics. They are so good and cute.
So, yeah, Maddie is.
I hope you guys follow Living Well Spine Center on Instagram and Facebook. They do a good job.
Yeah, Maddie is our social media queen, and she makes some pretty fun things. But it's also a competition with some other offices. So there are different ways to score goals. And so between 5 offices, we got this little competition going. And I have every intention of winning.
I know. Yeah.
We had 19 goals by the end of today.
So how competitive would you say you are?
Very not.
Very not competitive. That's what I was thinking.
However,
I'm surprised that you're
I'm sneaking in on them.
feeling.
I'm sandbagging them with my non-competitive nature, but I have every intention of winning this contest.
It's a good thing I'm not in charge around
There's
here.
like a new Bugatti or something involved.
Ooh.
No, I'm kidding.
Are you going to give it to me or can we just share it?
Can you imagine?
We're just kidding.
So no, it's kind of just a friendly spirited, fun competition.
Yeah.
Past the fire, past the sounds. Moonshine through the clouds, saddle up, 'cause there's no stopping me now.
What are we going to talk about today on this episode of Living Well Together?
Big life in a small town.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Cue up the band.
Yeah, the band's going right now. Graham does it perfectly every time. So, Terry,
Yes, Lisa.
there's a video that's going to come out that's just like that, except for opposite. What if I told you that nearly 90% of Americans have at least one marker of metabolic dysfunction, and nearly 90% of people who lose weight on a diet regain it?
I would say that you are probably right on target, maybe even underestimating. No, I'd say 90% is a good number.
But 90%, I mean, that is a high number.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
But we've talked about that before.
We've talked
we
about
know the
it,
health
yeah.
of our country is in the tank
So,
in so many ways. And most people don't even know it.
right. And most people don't even understand what metabolic health is.
Right.
Like and it's such a buzzword right now.
But I feel
metabolic health,
fine.
metabolic
If I feel
health.
fine, I must be fine.
Well, that means that there's only 12%, 10 to 12% of Americans that have truly optimal metabolic health. And that when we talk about metabolic health, we're talking about blood sugar, blood pressure, waist circumference. I brought a little measuring tape in case we wanted to
See how yours looks?
demonstrate. Cholesterol.
36, 24, 36. What a winning hand.
And triglycerides. And so those are numbers. A lot of the numbers have to be done through labs,
Sure.
right? But there are some things like a waist circumference and using a measuring tape, a very simple measuring tape
Yep.
to get those numbers. And there's a waist circumference and there's also waist hip ratio that you can do too. But the other thing that I found super surprising, like that didn't really surprise me. We've talked about that a lot before.
And if we would have measured those same parameters back in the 1950s, what do you think the number would have been then?
Smaller.
Fractional. But it was in the 50s and 60s when diets started changing, convenience foods started changing or entering the picture, processing of food, the changing of physical fitness. Every school used to have a gym class.
Yeah.
And good luck with some of that now.
Right.
And you had to do push-ups and pull-ups and monkey bars and all kinds of things that nobody is looking for now.
Yeah, but they didn't talk about metabolic health back then.
No, but these are all things that impact metabolic health.
They do, but as far as, just a little bit of education around that, but what I found more interesting was that approximately 9 out of 10 people who lose weight on a strict diet, they regain it within a year.
You see that all the time.
So they stress themselves out to fit into these numbers, calories or macros or whatever it is. And then because of the lifestyle habits that don't get rearranged, then they gain it all back, usually heavier than
But
when
people
they
set the stage
started.
for temporary, right? I want to lose weight so I can go on vacation. I
That's
want to lose
true.
weight so I can get in this dress for a wedding. I need to lose some weight so I can do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And then when X, Y, Z is over, they just resume normal,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah. They haven't changed their
Stop.
habits. Yeah.
Right.
And it feels like such a waste and a loss. Plus, plus they're saying that you are going to regain 5 to 10% more than where you were originally at. And so even that, it's like, oh my gosh, then
Why is
because
that,
they talk
though?
about
Why would you
yo-yoing.
gain more just because you're going back to old school habits?
I think it's because they're compensating, they feel like they need to reward themselves. They got to their goal weight or they got to their goal event or
Yes.
whatever that was. And then it's like, okay,
I'm going to go celebrate with a pizza.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a mindset thing, and so much of it revolves around mindset, and so many people's mindset is in the toilet as well. So,
Yeah.
But let's talk about.
Well, how about 10 mistakes that people make as far as when it's further on in your notes.
All right.
After they, to try to stay on track. So things to think about to stay at their weight loss goals.
Again, we can talk about weight loss all day long.
What I want to talk about is metabolic restoration.
Yeah, I was going to say
just
weight is just a symptom of change that needs to take place.
So one of the things is, you want me to help you?
No.
Okay. One of the very most important things, and we talked about this briefly the other day, and I posted in my stories about it too, but it's underestimating the actual calories that you're consuming every day. Because a lot of times people don't count the little, grabbing a piece of cheese as they're grating it for whatever
As they're
the
walking
meal
by,
is.
grabbing a handful of peanut M&Ms.
Or nuts, or, they need a little bit of trail mix in the afternoon, or they're drinking, they're going through Starbucks and they're just grabbing a drink. Liquid calories are still calories.
100%. All those sugar bomb coffee drinks.
Add in. Yeah. And even healthy foods, like when people talk about having a healthy snack, even if it's hummus and crackers or plantain chips, that's still about 300 to 350 calories.
Okay.
So if that's their lunch, that's wonderful. But if that's just kind of like an additional I need a little
Grazing.
pick-me-up or a grazing, then that's when they run into trouble. They don't really count those. So one of the first things that I do, and I don't want people to lose their joy in life by getting to where they want to be health-wise. But if they don't know what they're eating and how that's contributing to metabolic dysfunction, then they have to start with the process of analyzing what they're doing on a daily
Can we
basis.
define metabolic dysfunction? What does that mean?
Yeah, so that is where people are, they're having issues with prediabetes or diabetes. They have maybe high cholesterol, high blood pressure, metabolic function, fatty liver disease is going to enter into that. Kind of some outliers would be brain fog or neuro inflammation.
So those are clues that just suggest that your metabolism has been compromised. Is that fair?
Yeah, so
In other words, it's not balanced.
It's
We're
not,
still
but
coming back to where we talk about homeostasis. Is the
Right.
body, is it functioning efficiently? Is it burning calories appropriately? Is it getting proper, and we'll talk about some things maybe to do to reestablish metabolic function. But I think the average person doesn't know, what is metabolic function or
well, that's what I was talking about at the front side, like cholesterol, triglycerides.
Yeah.
So people associate metabolism
Yeah.
with their thyroid. Everybody thinks they have their thyroid is
Yes.
hypoactive, so low.
I'm big boned.
Or-
I'm a big boned. No,
But
no, your bones are
metabolic-
carrying around 500 extra
Metabolic
pounds.
function and metabolism are not necessarily the same thing.
Okay.
And I think that's where the confusion is. The words are very close together. And it's the way our body uses energy. That's what metabolism would be, right?
Yeah.
But metabolic function is a little bit broader than that because, yes, you're burning energy, but you're also, your muscles are also part of that system where they are creating, they're storing energy. They're also utilizing glucose. And so that's part of it. So muscle is part of metabolic function.
So having more muscle is more efficient from a metabolic standpoint?
So
Is that
much better.
fair?
Yes. Muscle, I mean, we used to think, I mean, most of us still do, including me, that muscle is really for movement. And I don't know that is, it's more of a metabolic organ, and it's more for helping the body burn more efficiently.
Muscle has a lot of function. You're right. It has to do with movement. It is, it burns calories better than a lack of muscle,
Right.
I'll say.
Yeah.
It has to do with bone density. Muscles dictate how dense bones stay.
Right.
So if your bones don't perceive strength to be a priority, then they will give away calcium. They'll give away density and muscle and
Bones
bone.
will.
Right.
Yeah. So the other thing that muscle does is it improves insulin sensitivity. So
Okay.
as we build muscle, people, one of the things to look for on your lab work is running fasting insulin. It tells such a big part of your metabolic journey because the lower the number, the higher the sensitivity is.
Okay.
Is that right? Am I saying that right? And so that tells the health of the pancreas. It tells, like that pre-diabetic situation, or diabetes 3, which is going to be dementia or Alzheimer's. So looking at that is really important. But your muscle burns calories around the clock too. Like even when you're sleeping, it's burning calories,
Yes.
even as you're sleeping. I mean, that's magical.
So less
Right?
muscle equals less calorie burning.
Yes, exactly. Even while you're sleeping. It produces anti-inflammatory signaling molecules. Like we talk about signaling molecules all the time when it comes to peptides.
Sure.
But this is within your body. Like the more muscles that you have, the more control you have over the inflammation in your system too. Stronger muscles equate to more anti-inflammation.
Okay.
You already talked about protecting the bone density, improving balance and mobility,
Stability.
instability, right? We've talked about that in the past too, and how important that is as we age to be able to get up off the ground. And it just acts as a reserve. The muscles act as a reserve for us as we age, and especially during like an illness. You're going to have more resilience if you have more muscle. This is like this gives some examples of what that would look like for people too.
Oh, wow.
And it's just fascinating to me because I do think that most, I would say probably, I don't know, you probably would be able to get a bit better gauge than me. But wouldn't you think about 95% of the people don't want to exercise? There's probably only 5% of the people that really look forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the stats on that would be, but yeah, exercise is not a high priority for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I always just call it movement. You got to move more. But resistance is a big deal. Muscles will only stay as strong as they perceive the need to stay. And whether that's calisthenics and push-ups, or whether that's the little dumbbells or heavy weights or whatever, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say the majority of the population, although if you go to Planet Fitness, there's a busy time.
It is. Like, that's why I'm like, would it be just 5% of the people that want to exercise? Because there's a lot of people at the gym.
Well, there's a lot of people, and to be frank, there's a lot of people at the gym exercising badly.
Oh, well, but they're still exercising.
Well,
I mean,
off
I
the
think
couch.
that exactly.
Yeah, you get bonus points for not being on the couch. But there's a lot of
absolutely.
people that need some exercise coaching. Even when you're watching people on the Stairmaster, and they're staring, they call it the Stairmaster because they're staring at their cell phone, but they're not moving much.
Okay.
And they're not on the couch, but they're not moving much. So a little bit of feedback, a little bit of homework or some coaching would be smart.
Yeah.
And that way you maximize the time.
Yes, exactly. If you're going to go, you might as well make it count. But I thought this stat was also interesting that adults lose roughly 3 to 8% of their muscle mass per decade after age 30. And then it accelerates dramatically after the age of 60. So it's almost like you have
I will
to
tell you straight away that
into-
keeping muscle at this stage of the game
Yeah.
is way harder than I would have ever guessed. And
Yeah.
it can be a little disheartening at times, And I've always enjoyed exercise. Exercise keeps me mentally stronger. It keeps me, endorphins and brain chemistry. I am happier and more productive and just more energetic when I stay on a regular exercise. 3 or 4 days a week is perfect for me. I don't have to do it every day, but something 3 or 4 days a week. And keeping muscle at this stage of the game, man alive, it is a chore.
Yeah.
So,
But I love that you still do it, even if it's harder.
Right.
And did you notice any difference adding testosterone and HCG?
I will say
To make it easier
maybe, and
to
maybe I
keep
didn't
the
do
muscle?
it long. I maybe didn't give it a fair shake.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you actually didn't. 90 days? Do you
No,
think? Not even
not
90
even.
days? Okay.
Probably 60, and
Okay.
maybe even then. But I don't know. Like I
Yeah.
said, I need to maybe revisit it and see, or get my blood work done again and see.
Yeah, if there's much of a difference.
And I know some guys that are in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. You'll see people online who are, and that they're supporting their hormones with some synthetics, but they look awesome. They're lean and they're muscular and they're flexible.
Yeah.
And so part of it just depends on what you're willing to do to get where you want to go. You can look at your parents. Here's the thing. Look at your parents. If they're still alive, are they the way that you want to be when you're their age? My dad made it to the ripe old age of 67, and he was miserable when he checked out, miserable for the last 4 years of his life. So I knew a long time ago that I was going to have to make some different choices with my overall well-being if I wanted to stick around. And that doesn't mean something couldn't happen, but the reality is if you have a genetic window to the future, that's called your parents. So if you look at your parents and you like what you see, do what they did, because the genetics are set a certain way. Lifestyle choices, however, have a significant impact on whistling right by 67. I plan on whistling right by him,
Right.
with a leaner, stronger, happier frame,
Yeah.
and mind, actually. So, but I learned from my people that I needed to make different choices than they made. But yeah, keeping muscle beyond a certain stage of the game. I always tell people I think I look pretty good for 80.
That's a good way to put that. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'd like to go back to the hidden calories part of it, because it's easy to pick up, 300 or 500 extra calories a day, just by snacking and grazing. So being more cognizant of that.
Sure. Now I
Super
got to say,
important. And for 3 days, I have my clients write down every single thing, every liquid that they put in their mouth,
Right.
every supplement that they take, every protein drink.
do you have them write down how they felt 2 hours later?
Nope.
Here's what I ate, and here's how I felt.
Nope. I only want them to just audit their intake.
Okay.
That's
Because I got to say,
strictly
I've
that.
got some guys in here that are my age or maybe a little older, but they're farming and they're baling hay and they're moving animals and they're working like
Right.
farmers.
Yeah.
So the calorie intake for that guy has got to be different than the calorie intake for the guy who drives a desk and sits in front of a computer.
For sure. Yes. But he's probably in a different, he's probably not one seeking help with his metabolic function then either.
Everybody is. I mean, 90% of the country, regardless of how they're doing things, is probably struggling on some front. And so, but my point is, calories are important, but calories are being burnt. And so your energy level and your output have a lot to do with how many you can put in. It's like banking. If you put in more than you take out, it's called savings.
But don't you think that then having an awareness of what that is?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the point of this, is just to have an awareness of what they're taking in.
Yeah.
Because 1 tablespoon of olive oil or dressing is 120 calories. A lot of times you have, it's like, oh, you want a little more, so you're putting another tablespoon on there.
Ranch dressing, you kidding?
Yeah, it's 240
Put ranch
calories.
dressing on a boot, I'd eat it.
Right there, yeah. And so, but you're thinking you had a healthy salad for lunch, and you probably did have a healthy salad,
Until
but the
you put dressing
calories
on it, right?
are still there, and they're still adding up, and that can sideline your metabolic journey for sure.
Okay.
The other thing that I think is interesting, we just did 2 back-to-back episodes about sleep.
Yes.
But something I didn't realize is that sleep deprived individuals they consume an average of 300 to 500 calories more than non-sleep deprived people.
Why do you think that is?
Because they're going for the carbohydrates at like 4 o'clock because they're so exhausted.
You need a Snickers bar.
You
You're going to
need
get
a
cranky.
snack. Yes.
That's called marketing.
Exactly. I mean, it's crazy how that is, but it happens. Like, they wake up tired. They start out thinking, their body is craving sugar sources and carbs and not thinking about protein or anything like that, because they just are trying to get their engine going.
Right.
And so that makes it a little bit,
Well,
tough
and we've
to-
also talked about, in past episodes, we've talked about the physiology of sympathetic dominance. When the nerve system is locked into fight or flight, you will crave sugars. You will crave carbohydrates because your muscles are stuck on a run pattern or a fight pattern.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is an element of sympathetic dominance too that prohibits good sleep. It changes the way metabolic function runs, and it will change the food that you reach for because you're just looking to feed the machine.
Exactly. And it almost feels like it's out of your control. It's like, I just need something to get me through till it's time to go to bed.
Sure. And well, yeah.
And 500 calories, that's like a meal that you did not intend to eat. Like that's like a fourth meal, basically.
Do you think everybody needs 3 meals a day?
I think it
Do you
depends.
eat 3 meals a day?
I don't eat 3 meals a day.
No, I don't think everybody needs 3 meals a
Yeah,
day.
I eat a later breakfast, and we kind of have an earlier dinner. I make sure that I'm hydrated, and I make sure that I get protein. In fact, I brought protein is the next thing that I want to talk about, because we don't get enough protein. But if you have a collagen source and some electrolytes, and you add them to a glass of water.
For our listeners, not our viewers, she's dumping a little vial of powder into
That
a
I
glass
just
of
created.
water. It is a combination of 2 things.
Strawberry
What is
electrolytes and organic collagen.
it? Okay.
And so I just dissolve that. And that is 10 grams of protein just with 1 glass, plus a whole bunch of great electrolytes. My body craves potassium. I do really well with high amounts of calcium or potassium. It helps to prevent my heart from racing. It helps to prevent palpitations, which sometimes will happen at nighttime when I go to bed. But it's just nice to know that you can have, like that's only 30 calories, but it's still 10 grams of protein.
So what's the function of protein? Why does that matter? Just out of curiosity, why do people
It's
need
going
pay
to help
attention
to preserve
protein?
muscle and
'Cause to be
improve
fair,
satiety.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's like the new thing is protein. I need more protein. I gotta have more protein.
Yeah.
And
But why?
it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, because not all protein is sourced the same way.
Right,
Not all
exactly.
protein is created equally. But yeah, you hear a lot about protein lately. If there one more person tells me they're having a protein drink, I'm gonna.
But you mean a protein shake?
Yeah. Protein this, protein that. You can get those snack bars that have 10 grams of protein. Well, they got like 800 grams of garbage.
I was going to say there's so many that are so unhealthy.
Yeah, they're terrible.
And I think it's really interesting. Like we talked about big food being really mad about the GLP-1s coming along because their snack profits were down like 28%.
Yes.
So now if you go down the snack aisle, guess what you see?
Protein snacks.
No, GLP-1 approved.
Oh, really?
Yes. So now they've completely, so it's probably the same snacks,
100%.
but now it's like, well, you can eat these and it's still going to go along with your GLP-1 journey. And that's a lie. That is a total lie.
Yeah.
And you probably won't feel good eating them.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes. It's really, it's the perfect
Marketing
example.
people rule the world.
They do. They pivoted and they're like, we're getting those profits back one way or the other.
Come on back here, Tubby.
It's terrible. But fiber, so we talked a little bit about fiber at the front side of the show, but
Before we move away from protein, though,
yeah.
can we talk about its benefits? What does it do?
yeah, the preserving the muscle
Yes.
and then making you feel fuller.
It satiates the stomach. It also, and yes, it is the building material for muscle. It is the, bricks and mortar that create new tissue. Carbohydrates are like the energy source that runs the gasoline that runs the machine.
Right.
But protein is the building material for the body. So the amount of protein matters based on your body weight and some other things because it is what's going to be used for the restoration of new tissue.
And it also has the highest thermic effect in the body, so it's going to help the burning process.
Which again, so yes,
Feeding
having
the
more
muscles.
protein
Yes.
helps you burn more carbohydrate.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
A thermogenic impact.
Yeah. For my clients, I recommend that they get up in the morning and whatever their first meal is, I love to encourage them to eat rotisserie chicken for breakfast. It's an easy they can have it pulled and ready, 3 ounces of it. And when they get up, it can be ready for them in the refrigerator and just eat that. And it's the perfect start to the day. So many protein powders, and I'm not against them, but so many people get bloated. It doesn't sit well with them.
Certain vegetable proteins, and then the additives or the sweeteners there's a lot of trash in there.
There's a lot, and even the cleaner ones though, like having an issue with the bloating and just feeling just totally stuffed. But if you're just eating some chicken, it's just a nice clean protein. It's easy to digest.
Our vegetarian friends, though, you're going to have a hard time talking them into that.
Yeah, I know. And so we have other alternatives, but and not protein shakes, like if they want to have tofu, they can do that. But I don't have a lot of vegetarian clients.
Okay.
Hardly. I can't even think of one off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sorry if you're out there and you're listening and you are a vegetarian client. I'm
chicken.
sorry. Yeah. And then, so protein is so important, and you should have at least 3 ounces at every meal, whatever that source is.
Good to know.
And let's see. I don't know what that was, but
Fiber. You're going to talk about
we
fiber.
were going to talk about fiber. Yes. So we were talking about
where
what
do I
that
get
is.
fiber?
Yeah.
They say as time goes by, you need fiber. Like you need your bran muffins. I need some fiber. Ooh.
Yeah, right. To help with the digestion process.
Moves things through the system.
Moves things through the system and slows things down enough so that you can actually get the nutrients from your food. But most people don't really, it sounds, there's even something called fiber maxing. There's maxing of everything, but fiber maxing is, I think we talked about that a little bit too. But it's just fruits and vegetables. So, Wait
a minute. You mean to tell me, you're telling me that I can just eat food from the earth and have all the fiber needs met?
Beans and lentils are probably the most recognized fiber
What about
source.
my Metamucil? I
No,
need
you
some bulk. I need some fiber.
There are people that maybe need a little bit of help.
Just kidding. I don't need these things.
Yeah.
But there's a need, or there wouldn't be a Metamucil or whatever.
Exactly. So beans and lentils, raspberries, fruit. I had mentioned chia seeds earlier, and I do love chia seeds. I especially love it. There's such a simple recipe for making chia seed pudding.
It is delicious.
And we had it every day while we were down in Turks and Caicos because that's what they served at breakfast.
Yep.
But it's just, you take coconut milk and you mix it with like a couple of tablespoons of chia seeds and you let it sit overnight.
Okay.
And
That's it?
That's it.
Why don't we do that at our house?
And you can add a little bit of vanilla to it too if you want that. But it's so good.
Where
And
we be in?
it is, it's like it's a nice little treat, and you can serve it with granola if you want to add a little something to it,
Fruit.
or just fruit. Yeah, it's delicious. Ground flaxseed is another one that people talk about.
Yes.
They add flaxseed to their smoothies or sprinkle it on something else that they're eating, like a
good omega-3s
salad.
as well.
Artichokes, pears, oats. Be careful about the oats that you eat. They really do need to be the heritage grain ones that aren't GMO modified in any way. And another one that I really like is sweet potatoes. That's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. I like regular potatoes too. I think regular potatoes have merit as long as they're steamed. That's the
Steamed or
best.
baked?
No, baking is different. It activates some of the. There's something that it activates that it's not as good for you, but steamed is like the perfect thing, and it's really good gut healing.
If I'm having a filet, that tater's going to be baked.
I know. Yeah, I agree. Or no, you like Fleming's potatoes or au gratin potatoes?
Oh, yeah. Smother them with cheesy sauce. Probably not best.
So one of the things that I was thinking about too is that like temporary solutions when people go on a diet, and we talked a little bit about this, but temporary solutions create temporary results. So if it's a lot of it is a mindset when you're going into this journey of wanting to become fitter and healthier and with a little bit of adjusted lifestyle habits.
Okay.
And so just making sure that the mindset is appropriate for
I think dieting equals temporary and dieting equals deprivation. So if somebody tells me I'm going on a diet, and that tells me A, I'm having a temporary change in my life, and B, I have a reason for it, but I don't know, necessarily how long I'm going to do it. So I think dieting is a mistake. If I want to change my internal stuff, I'm just going to say why. Why would I want to lose 10 pounds? Why is a better question than how. Because the reasons dictate the longevity.
Right.
Like if my reason for I don't think you need to lose weight. I don't even like the concept of weight loss. I
Right.
like the concept of health restoration.
Right.
If I'm going to get healthier, my body's naturally going to begin to find a more appropriate weight for me. But that means I've got to start making healthier lifestyle choices, and I have to do it for a durable amount of time.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
I mean,
that's
if you
kinda
think
how-
of being overweight as just a symptom of metabolic dysfunction, that's really how you should look at it. Because then when you restore metabolic dysfunction, then it's a cascade of all these wonderful things.
Sure.
Yes, if you want to lose weight, you're going to lose weight too, but you're going to see all these changes in your blood numbers. You're going to feel energized.
that I think is a much better goal.
Yes.
Let's talk about getting healthy,
Longevity.
not losing weight. You're seeing all these people that are getting super Ozempic thin, and their faces change, and their muscle structure change, and
But they're not doing that the right way.
No, it's horrible.
Yeah. They're overdone.
Done improperly,
yes.
it is horrible for your health, not a metabolic reset.
And it's not something that, like, if they're doing it that way, then chances are they are going to be one of those people that if they want to stay there,
Springs
they
back.
have to
Use it
stay
forever.
on it forever.
Right.
But if you use it for a temporary time, make the lifestyle changes, titrate off of it, and you should be good for a very long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you've seen that dozens and dozens of times.
Dozens and dozens of times. It's so rewarding to
I
see.
just get so bummed out when people say I'm going on a diet, or oh, I'm going to diet, or dieting this,
Starting
or
on
dieting that.
Monday.
It's crazy. And if you want to get healthier, you better have some reasons. Like I want to see my kid graduate, or I want to be at my grandson's wedding, or I want to be able to not be in a wheelchair. If you think that dieting is important, just look at your future.
Yeah.
I mean, lifestyle changes that you make now. Go visit a nursing home and tell me how much change you're willing to make. If you want to eat the donuts all the time, or I don't want to change my lifestyle, I just want to lose some weight. Well, here's the deal. Get one of those little mini trampolines like you got.
I love it. Yeah.
Right. But here's the rule. I can have all the junk food I want, but I have to be bouncing on that trampoline with no clothes in front of a mirror while I eat it.
No way. Oh
Take
my
your clothes off, strip down naked, get on the trampoline with the donut in front of a mirror, and tell me how awesome you feel. There you go. There's Dr. Terry's nugget for the day, ladies and gentlemen. The naked trampoline with a donut routine.
My thing is, I have the mini tramp, the rebounder set up, and so anytime I walk by, I have a day that I have a time that I do it every day.
Sure.
But if I walk past it, I have to get on it for at least 15 minutes. So I don't avoid going past it, but it's on my way to if we're going to watch TV.
Let's talk about insulin resistance.
Okay.
Because that's another big one.
Yeah.
For people. And so they'll get blood work done and they'll say, hey, my sugar
Mm-hmm.
seems pretty good. My A1C seems reasonable. But let's talk about where's your insulin.
Mm-hmm.
Because a flood of insulin is like the calm before the storm. And you may not even know it's there.
Right.
But if you don't measure your blood, you're not going to know.
Yeah. So, not to brag, but my fasting insulin is 1.
Well, not to brag, but I have no idea what mine is. So there you go.
Well, functional, and this is another thing. When you get your lab work done,
Yeah.
you might find that that yours is about 10, and they're going to say that that's still in range, but that is an early warning sign.
In
that,
range is not optimal.
No.
We've talked about that before.
No, and if you guys need somebody to guide you optimally with lab work, I have an appointment set up specifically to review people's labs with them.
Yeah.
You don't even have to schedule like a whole big old appointment with me. It's just somebody to help you look at your labs functionally. I think labs are super fun.
Yes, you're kind of a labaholic,
Yeah.
a
So
lab junkie.
yeah, and there's most of the people that start with me, their insulin is over 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, they don't know it. Here's the nice thing
don't
about
know
blood
it.
work. It won't
Yeah.
lie.
But sometimes you have to ask for that specifically. Not every doctor is going to run it. It's so interesting. I was talking with somebody, and I really wanted her to run some iron numbers, and I gave her the 6 panels that I wanted to see.
Yes.
Based on some other symptoms that she was having, and the first doctor wouldn't run it at all.
Okay.
And I'm just talking about an iron panel, like.
That's because you're
So
just not
simple.
making it their idea. If it was their idea, it'd be a great idea.
Well, and then so she had to go a different route and get it ordered. And then they still only ran 4 out of the 6. And one of the ones that they left behind it's crucial to have that number to really know.
So why do you think they wouldn't do it?
I don't know.
Part of it is
I don't want to
paying
think.
for it.
Well, the insurance was paying for it.
And so they're going to get by with as very little as they can get by with from a.
It's
who's
not
paying
even like
for
it's
what.
expensive. Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
I know.
You know.
So it was
starts a
really
cascade.
it was really disheartening though, because it's like, these, if you can't get your doctor to run a fasting insulin, then you're not going to know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are going to have to stay on different medications if you're already in that pre-diabetic range.
Yes. And what do they consider pre-diabetic?
Anything above 6.
With your A1C?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what, well, no, 5.6. So where you want it to be is under 5.4.
Okay.
So 6 is already pretty high up there.
7 is what they would consider diabetic, right?
No, let me see. I think it's lower than that.
Well, that's like cholesterol too. So
I know,
what
it
they
has
say it is
changed.
and what it actually is may or may not match.
So you're diabetic if you're 6.5% or higher, so not to 7. Less than 5.7 is normal, but also 5.7 I think is high. You're already kind of flirting with that pre-diabetes. And
And most
so
people, to be fair, don't have just one issue.
it's true.
You know, if their pancreas is misbehaving at 5.7, their liver is already screaming for some help.
Yeah, they're
and their pancreas is already
sisters.
tired. And so all those things, are just markers. And they say, here's the thing that says my metabolism is not balanced. This is now officially metabolic dysfunction.
Right.
It may be symptomatic, but the symptoms may be so subtle. I'm tired. I'm thirsty. I'm not pooping the same way. My bathroom habits are changing. My energy level, my cravings, so these are all, or I'm gaining weight that I can't explain.
Right.
So these are all symptoms of metabolic dysfunction. But if you don't run the blood, you'd never know where the pinpoint is.
And just to clarify too about A1C, that is a 90-day, it's looking at 90 days
Okay.
for blood
So
sugar.
if I
So that's
stop
different
eating
than
right now
fasting
and I get
glucose.
blood work 12 hours from now,
It's still going to
but
be
my
90 days.
A1C
past.
still is a 90-day
Yeah.
look
Window.
back. Got it.
Yeah, but you're fasting glucose because you probably then wouldn't eat or drink
Yeah.
except for water until you do it after midnight and
Right.
until you take the test.
Okay. But
So that would be
again, so
different,
there's rules,
and that
and you
should be
can help
under
people with the rules and understanding the policies and procedures. I get that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing it, you just keep wondering why you're getting fatter, sicker, and slower.
Right, it's true. Yeah.
What are just a few points that you want to make sure we hit before we wrap this
Yeah,
up?
before we wrap
What's
this
one
up-
thing I can do? Well, here's a weird thing. Let's talk about being hungry. When was
Okay.
the last time you're actually hungry?
I know. We say I'm starving.
Right. Which
And we
we're
don't-
not. Like you're 80 pounds overweight. You haven't starved for a very long time.
Yeah.
You might be thinking you need food, but
Right.
that's not the same as
And your
starving.
belly might be growling, or you're ghrelin and leptin or misbehaving.
What would you put in? Let's say you're that person and you got, a few pounds you could lose, but you think you're hungry. What would you put in?
You mean mid-meal?
Yeah, between meals. This is not meal time.
You know what? I would probably drink the electrolytes with the collagen. It's
Or
very
just straight
filling.
water.
Or just straight water. But it's refreshing too.
Sure.
And so it makes you feel like
Full.
it's going to give you it's registering something in
zippity-doo-dah.
your brain.
Okay.
And plus it's protein.
Most people don't
Protein,
drink enough
collagen.
water, and most people don't get enough sleep. So if you're feeling grumpy and hungry, put in a glass of water
Yeah.
and just see how you do.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And yes, could you put protein in it? Yes. Could you put some electrolytes in it? Probably smart.
Yeah.
But water is where everybody has.
Right.
Right. I can get water almost anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
And so rather than reaching for an Oreo, reach for a glass of water. Rather than getting out the bag of chips, put some water in it and see how you do. It'll
Yeah.
satisfy that gap in your tummy.
Right. Yeah.
And then you don't have to fight the metabolic reset that comes with it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'll share links to these because it's really a special little treat. I just want to touch on, like, if you have a tape measure at home and you're wondering where you are with this. So the waist circumference guidelines are for women, a low risk number would be less than 35 inches around the waist. So that's around your belly button.
Not your hips.
So you have increased health risk with 35 inches or greater. For men, it's less than 40 inches, same
Okay.
thing around your belly button. increased health risk over 40 inches.
Okay.
But if you want to do the waist to hip
So if
ratio,
I'm buying pants that are a 40, I'm okay. If I'm buying pants that are 46, I'm wondering about it.
so
Or is that where it's riding on my hips, not my
it
belly?
depends on how you wear your pants,
Okay.
because there's some people that wear their waistband is at their belly button,
Right.
but most men wear them lower on their hips. So they can. So that size is not the same.
No, I
as your
get it.
belly. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's the Dunlop.
Yes.
Like your belly's Dunlopped over
Right.
your belt.
So don't deceive yourself into thinking that you're
You're not as svelte as you might believe.
you could be, you can be.
Yeah.
And that's where the waist to hip ratio is probably a better way
Thank
to
you.
measure. So that's where you measure the waist and the hips. And then there's a guideline for that. And I'll just put those in the show notes, because if I'm going to read them off to you, you're going to be like, you're not
Boring.
Yeah, exactly. But it's fascinating and it's really helpful. And it helps you to know where you're storing fat too, especially for women. If you're more of a pear shape or more of an apple shape, there's just different ways of measuring. But that way,
Absolutely.
you got to know where you're starting from to either decide that you want to make some changes, or just gradually ease into that thought process.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just
So
here to
eat
share
more real
information.
food would be a good idea. Cut out junk and grazing in between meals would be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
A little more movement, maybe even with some resistance training, whether
Yes, build that muscle
it's little tiny
a little
dumbbells or whether it's stretchy band resistance weight or whatever.
bit. Sleep, get at least 8 hours
Go
of
to
sleep.
bed on time,
Yeah.
maybe a little early. And I mean, the recipe's not that hard.
No,
but if
it's
you get
not.
some blood work done and you buy your own little tape measure, you'll at least know where you're starting.
Yep.
And then if you need some coaching,
Yeah.
call her. Don't call me. Because I
Yeah.
care, but not that much.
But you have another role in people's health, and that's their nervous system, and that's absolutely the
Well,
first place to start.
Yeah, we all have the things we care more about.
Yeah. Well, you care about overall.
You know what's
health
really
for
hard?
people.
I mean, as a provider of healthcare, as a person who does see things mattering, it's hard to not care more than the person you're helping.
I know.
Like I want your success. I want to be able to like high five you at the end of whatever the goals are. Whether it's running a 5K or whether it's just being able to get off the toilet without help.
Exactly.
I love the high five and the celebration that comes from you reaching your goals. And I know you do too.
Yeah,
And
it's
so, but you
much
got to
fun.
have them, you got to decide, and then you got to be willing to make the changes that get you there.
Yeah.
If you don't do the work, you should not expect the reward.
Right.
It's so simple.
It is.
So all day, every day, we're high fiving in here.
You are. And I love like your testimonials, and I wouldn't call them reviews, but I love hearing people's stories. You shared a really good one that I can also wrap into the show notes too last week. But
Yeah,
that was
it's-
really special.
People need reasons to be successful. You can't just expect it to manifest without doing the work and having good reasons for it.
Yeah.
So anyway, at the end of the day, or at the end of the episode, here we are.
You almost made it all the way through, babe.
At the end of the day,
At the end of the day, but at the end of the episode, it's good timing.
same thing. What should they do?
Yeah, like, subscribe, follow, and share. And we'll see you guys next week.
Later
See you
days.
later. Bye.
Don't stop me. Don't stop me now.
Do you think they get sick of hearing us?